All right, so a two-part season finale on the amazing third season of Fringe, which has taken us between two universes and two Walter Bishops. It has to have been an incredibly satisfying year for you, just creatively as a character and for the show.
For everyone. You know, it's I think what we've tried on Fringe this year, two things that haven't been done before successfully. One is to play an alternate version of ourselves. In other words, to create a whole new set of characters in another place and expect the audience to care about them. And that was a real risk, and yet, just judging from the responses, people have started to understand and to like the alternate people as well. And so now they have a real dilemma. Like, there are good people on both sides, we don't want them to die. We've even started to understand that Walternate is not all bad. You know, he's a man that is doing a very difficult job, but he has his own grief to deal with, and we learnt that very strongly in Subject 13 when we saw him just after his son was stolen. So we have now these two good sets of people. But it appears that there's going to be one of the universes, or both, will collapse. It feels like the end of days. So the finales brings into the situation of the science. Walter Bishop also has to come to grips with the fact that he has what it takes. He has the intellectual prowess to resolve this issue. Whereas a lot of the season he's been doubting himself, until Nina and then Belle says to him, "Stop it, you've got everything it takes, do it." And so he kicks into another mode. The end is astonishing. The cliffhangers that are promoted, because what we will do is we will get a view of, we will take another risk, and we will get a view of what life would be like if there wasn't a resolution. That's astonishing. And at the end of the very finale, we'll see that the task of the machine is not to destroy, but to create the potential of reconciliation. The potential. Getting there is a huge trip on both sides. But the final scene of the finale, which I won't tell you, is one of the best cliffhangers I've ever seen.
Well, I don't think anyone wants to be spoiled. That's part of the fun of this show, is that it really does leave you on the edge of your seat, you know, literally.
And it was for us too, seriously. And they were such massive episodes. We were literally shooting 18-hour days to try and get the material done, week after week, to try and get this in. So complicated, and yet when we left finally at 7 o'clock in the morning on the last Saturday, there was an amazing sigh of relief, knowing that we had created some truly beautiful television. There's one or two scenes in there that are truly beautiful, some great tension, and a sense of, wow, that is work really well done.
Now, you talked about, you know, creating this second set of characters that we've grown to love. I mean, we really did not want to like Walternate. No. But then came that episode that you referenced, and you couldn't help but feel for him.
Indeed. I mean, I think a man that's had his son stolen. The point about that episode was that we saw Walternate going down the drain. His life had fallen apart. He was a drunk. He was going to work drunk. He was absolutely, he'd lost his way. His marriage was unravelling. And by that extraordinary switcheroo that they played at the end of that, where he found out that Olivia showed him the drawings, that brilliant turnaround at the end of Subject 13, where he says, "My son is alive, I know where he is," and you could just almost see him straighten up and saying, "Okay, game on," which is what I did. I just actually straightened my body up as if to say game on. Of course, game on means I'm going to sort this out.
And knowing what Walternate is like on the other side, it seems like there's almost a little bit of jealousy of the intellect and the power that he possesses. I think we're often jealous, if that's the right word, of what we perceive we don't have. Okay, grass is greener, but in fact, Walter has everything that Walternate has. He has his personality has been affected in different ways because of his mental illness, because of his drug use, because of the tragedies in his life. But his mental faculties are exactly the same as Walternate's. And that's going to be very important, I believe, in season 4, when these two become one
and use that extraordinary intellect to resolve so many issues. It's also, it's very important in world terms, by the way, that most of the issues that we face in this world of ours can be resolved if people will come together and put aside their differences. And that's what we're saying in the finale of Fringe.